a great work of love. And that's really why it is a pro-life issue. It's a culture of life issue because we're dealing with an act of love toward another human being in need. And that's really, which ties in very beautifully to Pope Francis, who's been very, very vocal in the recognition of others, that to be mindful of others. And what Pope Benedict, in talking about this, was saying, who's the person in need? Well,
Mhm.
it's whoever the person in need is. If they have a need, then there is a need for a response. And so we have a need. We have
Mhm.
children that have been either abandoned. We have children that have lost their parents. There's some tragedy, some difficulty. We have situations where children now are teenagers in foster care systems for various reasons. So there's a need. And I love how John Paul puts that, in a sense of a recognition, a great act of love, and that both benefit, and which really does make me think of Pope Francis's reflection on the Good Samaritan,
Mm.
that the Samaritan benefits from the person in need, and the person in need benefits from the Good Samaritan. And sometimes one is quite obvious. The
Mhm.
Samaritan has a need, and so we see that, but no one really sees the Samaritan himself
Mhm.
has a need that is met by this act of love. And I think it's good for us to look at those a little because what you just outlined, are realities. We have
Mhm.
couples today who struggle with infertility, and though we know that not every couple who struggles with infertility is called to adoption and should not be the requisite for adoption, but there are many things that people don't think about.
Mhm.
So that for a couple who is struggling with infertility, sometimes they don't pray about, is this an opportunity for us?
Mhm.
That we may not be blessed through our conjugal love, our gift of each other to each other, and the fruit of our love. But as Pope John Paul talks about, and I know we only have limited time, so I'm not going to read a lot of things from him, but he talks about procreation and also not only being a sense of a biological gift of self,
Mhm.
self-donation, but procreation is also because it's a gift of self. So adoption is a gift of self. So it has a procreative aspect of it that doesn't get talked about enough. And I think that's something that not in couples, even who have been able to welcome children, through the fruit of their conjugal love, to also be open to the gift of another that
Mhm.
is not the fruit of their biological love, their conjugal love, but by welcoming someone into their home, and which is still a procreative act. It's still a fruitful act of love.